very basic reading on Shannon Canning. Now, Shannon Canning is a person that went missing recently in May. So last seen on the 19th of May. A body was discovered on the 24th of May, so very recent. Now, the thing with this reading is that it's quite similar to Nicola Bulley in that she was discovered not far from Nicola Bulley. Let me just have a look at the details. I'll read them. Claire Louise has commented on one of my Nicola Bulley videos saying that there's been a couple of other cases recently. It's May. So, for instance, Shannon Canning, last seen 19th of May. Her body was discovered in a Lancaster canal 24th of May. So Lancaster Canal apparently is about 23 miles from the River Weir where Nicola Bulley was found. Now, the reason I'm looking into this is, for one thing, I've been asked to have a little look into this is because in the last reading with Nicola Bulley, and quite a few readings actually, is saying there's something that the police are protecting. Somebody's either under police protection, something that's being protected, some kind of information that's being protected, or something that's not, they don't want to be released. Now, I just wanted to have a look into this to see if it is a connection between these cases. So there's a case of right, so that's Rachel, that's Shannon, and that's Nicola as well. There is one more in Ireland, which I will have a look at. Not at the moment, but I'm just going to have a little look to see if there's any connection between these cases, and that's what I'm asking on today. I do have a brand new deck coming in. I'm so excited about it. It's investigation, psychic investigation card deck. So that's going to give me a lot more insight into these different things. And this card deck has been created. I've created it. That's what I do. I create oracle decks and tarot decks, and I've created it based on a lot of these cases that I read on all of the time. So it's going to give me a lot more information, and that's why I'm going to read on these other 3 cases. So that's the other 3 women that have gone missing, bodies have been found. I'm going to be reading on those in the next few weeks when the new cards arrive in. But for now, I'm just wanting to look to see if the cover up or the thing that's being covered up in the Nicola Bulley investigation is somehow related to Shannon Canning in particular, or perhaps Rachel, because the cases are very close together, and I want to see if there's any kind of connection there as well. I don't know what the cards are going to say, but I'm going to have a look into it. But then in a couple of weeks when the new deck arrives, I'm going to read a little deeper on all 3 of these cases. And I feel very connected to these cases because as soon as I read their names and looked at, and again, I'm talking about them now, I'm getting goosebumps, covered in goosebumps. So it's showing me that I am meant to do a reading on them. I feel very connected to them. In particular, I feel connected to the Island girl, the young Island girl from Ireland, the young girl from Ireland, and Shannon Canning, that she was discovered on my birthday. The 2 dates that are prominent in her case are very prominent dates in my life. I also find I again can relate to her. And when I started reading on Nicola Bulley, I felt a deep connection to her as well. And it's we're similar ages, as we're going through similar things. And I felt a deep connection to Nicola Bulley. And again, I'm feeling that same connection to these other 2 cases. I'm getting goosebumps when I think about them or do their case. So I think I'm meant to read on these couple of other people as well. But I will do that in the next couple of weeks with the new cards. But for now, we're just going to have a look at, is there some kind of connection? Okay, so I'm trying a new format, so there could be a couple of little hiccups with technical things, but I will get through that. But I'm trying to give a new format where you can actually see the cards as they fall down on the table, so you can have a look at what happens. Okay, this is just for me. These cards here, let me bring them up on the big screen so you can have a look at them better. Okay, these are the cards that, as I'm talking about this, that have come out, and it's saying that I've made some changes. So this is how good the cards are. They're very good, accurate cards. So it's as I'm talking about, I've made some changes technically to try and bring you a better format for your viewing, so you can see the cards as I'm reading. The card of changes has come out, so the transformation. So yes, I'm making transformations in the way I'm reading, trying to find a better way for you to be able to view the cards. And this here is the Tower card, the card of chaos and turmoil. So it is saying that I am going to have I'm having technical problems around it. It's taken me a few hours today, so I am having some technical issues around that, but I feel like it's going to be a better viewing experience for you if I can work through these things. So the cards are on. They're coming through they're connected to the words that I'm saying. So first of all, I want to just ask the cards if I'm okay to read on this, particularly because it's a new case. This is Shannon Canning that I'm looking at now. Shannon Canning, that her body was found in Lancaster Canal on the 24th of May. So I'm not doing a full reading on her at the moment, but I am looking at connections between the 2 cases. It's just come out is racial vibration. So it's just asking me to do these true crime reads. I have to have a very deep connection, which it's coming in now because my ears are starting to block up, but it's saying that I need to raise my vibration to be able to get into this energy. First of all, I'm just asking permission from my cards. Is it okay to read on these 2 situations, please? Okay, so it's saying that I need to be strategic. Okay, and it's just warning me about getting drained. So it can be very draining when you read very deep. So it's just warning me to just be a little cautious about deep reading. Now, I'm also getting this card here being me, and I feel like it's a connection to Shannon. And it's telling, actually, I think this is Shannon's card in the reading, because it's saying this is me with my life, and those dates that are relevant to Shannon's case are also very relevant to my life. So I feel like that is representing her in these cards. Okay. So first of all, is there something you want to tell me about Shannon? Do I have a connection, please, to Shannon Canning's case here, please? Do I have a connection to Shannon? Oh, okay. Okay, we've got the tied down card again. Now, this card always comes out in the Nicola Bulley reads, and I'm asking on Shannon Canning here. So there's something about tied down. Now, that is a similarity to me between the two cases. Okay, so and this is what I'm asking on today. So I'm asking if there is a connection to these two cases. So let's get into that read and asking those questions, please. These cards popped out, so it's just a hermit card. Okay, so we're going straight into asking the question here. Is there a connection between the Nicola Bulley case and Shannon Canning? Is there a connection to these two cases, please? Okay, so right now we're looking at the connections between the two cases. Okay, so the connections that I'm seeing straight away is, first of all, there was turmoil around both cases. So the turmoil and destruction card here, let me just bring this one up here. The turmoil and destruction card, which is the Tower card in the tarot, comes up in both readings. So it's saying at the moment of when I read on Nicola's actual death, her passing, it's saying there's a lot of turmoil going on around her. Also and now because we're looking at the similarities between the two cases, so that's Shannon and Nicola, it's saying that her passing too was quite chaotic as well. So I'm also getting the other card that comes up all the time is the caution is necessary card. So it's saying that, and I always hold it up and say like 1, 2, 3 people involved, or we're looking at the 3 people, but I'm also very drawn to being watched here in the background. This card comes up for Nicola quite often and saying that somebody was watching her when she was going for a walk. Now, I haven't looked into Shannon's case at all, so I don't know what's going on around her, and I will do those reads and go deep with her case because I feel very strongly connected to her energy. But what I'm seeing here now is the connections between the two cases. So I'm seeing that similarities being that somebody was watching Nicola or somebody was watching Shannon as well. So that's a similarity in both cases. Also getting here the card, I'll point down the bottom here, it's called the attack card. The attack card comes up all the time in Nicola's reading, saying that there was some kind of attack going on around her, although it was an attack involved. And so that's saying to me then also that Shannon's case is very similar, the similarities in that way. So here we're looking at all the similarities between the two cases. We're also looking at the nest change card here, and there's a card of being found under the water or found in the river or the canal. So that's another similarity with the two cases. Here is, it's called the awareness card, and it's a card about being. Okay, I do apologise for the repeat. As I said, it is a technical issue, but I wanted to be able to show you the cards as well as be able to do the readings for you. I will work my way through that technical issue. Okay, so the other similarities that the cards are saying is that a different perspective as well. I'm very drawn to the card of the different perspective. I feel like it has a connection over here to the awareness card in that the way things are seen one way and portrayed in a different way. So, and it's saying here with the different perspective, it's like we're looking at things differently. We need to change the way we look at things or change our perspective on the situation. So I feel like those two things are similar in both cases. Now I also have the card here of the Hangman, which says delays and suspensions. Also could be, and I know this has been come up in Nicola's reading before about being caught up in something, could also be the rope as well, because we've got the tied down card as well previously in the last layout. So I feel like it could be something to do with that as well. Now, the other thing here is the strategy and the planning. So strategy and planning. So that is telling me that there are similarities between the two cases of that both crimes had a level of planning or strategy involved in them. So both cases. So what we're looking at here right now is what in this case is similar. So the similarities between the two cases. So yes, the similarities in that they were both found in water. So we've got the water cards here. They're both watched by another person, or that's that creepy card of having to be very cautious. So being cautious about who's around you, or that somebody's watching you. Right next to that, we've got the attack card. Now those two cards come up from the very beginning with Nicola's readings, saying that somebody was watching her and there was some kind of attack. She may not have even also, I've got 2 attack cards in my deck. And it may not have even been that she was aware of who was watching her, or what was going on with this attack. Now that those 2 similarities as well. I also am drawn here to I just have to mention it, that the Hanged Man card indicates party substances as well. So because of what's in the image here of the card, it does indicate party substances. So that could be a connection as well. So it may not just be that there was delays or suspensions. It could be the party substance connection as well. I don't know. I haven't read into Shannon. I'll look deeper into her in a couple of weeks. But I do need to mention that at the moment. The other thing here is the card of distraction, the media distraction card. And I feel like distraction is about when look here, why something else is going on over here. So it's like don't look at what's going on here, look here instead. So that's what the distraction card means. It also can mean about media or the internet, and how Nicola Bulley's case is just blown up and everybody wants justice for Nicola. Everybody wants to know what's happened. Everybody wants to, if she was indeed attacked, like my card say and a lot of other people say as well, that the people want justice and people want the truth to come out. So I feel like and speaking of the distraction card, it's saying how the people are all for, it's like they're not being distracted, but the people are very interested. It's like here's the card of like the TV. So people are watching, people want to see, people want to know, and that's what it's saying in this card. So it's saying in both cases, I feel like the Shannon case is going to take off as well. I think people really want to know what's happening with her. Again, I'm getting covered in goosebumps every time I talk about Shannon. I feel very, that's like the psychic antennas that stand up, the truth antennas as well. So they always come up when you're saying something that's truthful, or you're connecting, you're hitting on it, but also you're making a connection as well. Now, I'm not intentionally tapping into Shannon's energy right now. I'm just sitting on the outside, just looking at the connections between the 2 cases. I do want to save the energy for the new card so I can really get a really deep connection to Shannon. I do feel connected to her, and I feel like I'm going to be able to tap in and get a very strong connection with that reading. Okay, so similarities in both cases being that the water, they're so close to location that either they were being watched, there was some level of strategy or planning, there was an attack involved. I'm also getting the coin card as well. So this is a card, it's called Take a Chance, and the gold coin, you can see she's flipping a gold coin. So that can indicate money in some way, so like a money connection as well. But that's the connections that I'm seeing. Now, the connection that I wanted to know, that I'm going to ask now, is I wanted to know if there's a legal connection between the 2 cases, i.e. is the perpetrator the same perpetrator for both cases. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm just wanting to know, really, is that's what the police are covering up, the fact that they're what I'm getting at here is is there a serial killer? Is there somebody that's doing this to females? So that's really where I'm going and what I'm getting at here. So let me just check in with the cards here and make this clear, because if you don't ask in a clear way, you don't get a clear answer. So I'm just checking in with you the connection that I'm trying to make now between the 2 cases, and if there is no connection, you need to let me know. Is the perpetrator the same? Is it the same perpetrator in both cases, please? Okay, so first of all, what I'm getting is that there's similarities being here. We've got the tied down card again. That card comes out all of the time in Nicola's reading, and it's now coming up when I'm talking about Shannon. So I do again feel like it is a connection in that way. Death card, we've got the death card as well that's come up. Now, what I've asked is if there is like a legal connection, is it the same perpetrator? So what I'm getting here is, again, we're looking at the similarities like the death. And as a standout, I'm not seeing like a yes. I'm not seeing a definite yes that it's like the same person. I'm getting here the card of the two. So this is the Two of Pentacles, and this card tells me that there's two. So it could be like it's two separate things. But when I say that, I'm hearing two bodies of water. So that's telling me that it is two separate bodies of water. Yes, we know that. Right next to that, we've got another card where they're in water, and this is the Nine of Swords, and it's in water, and it's like this is like a murder occurring in water here as well. So right next to that, I've got the Death card, which I won't bring that up, but I'll just show you there. That's the Death card. And below here, I've got the Creative Narrative. So this is a card that says like a creative spin on something, like it's different than what's being portrayed. So what's being said is different to the truth. So it's lies, basically. It's the lie card. Okay. I feel like there is a lot of similarities between the two cases. We're getting a lot of similar cards. So we're getting the water card, like this is, I've got to say, like murder taking place, because it's like the stabbing. So that's indicating to me death taking place near the water, by the water here. And we've got the rope and the tied down card again that comes up every time. We've got the vehicle card as well. The vehicle card, I've always said in Nicola Bulley's card, it could either be related to a vehicle or somebody that came in a vehicle to where Nicola was, or the caravan. So something that happened around the caravan park area. I'm not getting a definite yes here that these two cases have been is the same perpetrator. I'm getting two different here. So and I'm hearing two different, but I am hearing two different bodies of water is what I'm getting. But I feel like it's different. They're different. And here, because we've got the creative narrative, it's like almost saying that that's kind of like a creative narrative or a creative spin on the situation. Yes, there's a lot of similarities to these cases. I'm getting a lot of similar cards, but I feel like putting them together, being the same person that done the crime, is maybe a bit of a creative spin. So let me just check that one more time. I just want to be sure, because I wanted to know if that's what is being covered up. So when I ask if there's connections, it shows me how the connections and similarities is what is showing me, similarities and connections to the two cases. What I'm getting here with this spread is that again, we've got a lot of similarities going on here. We've got the Nine of Swords again, talks about the water, the death near water. We've also got the person, and this is a card of self-reflect, so it could be self here as well, in the water. There is a connection in that way. So there's definitely connections here between the two cases. We've got the money card changing hands down the bottom, but it is saying like a different perspective. So it's saying different, and it's also saying illusion. So it's saying I don't feel like they're connected in that way. So I don't feel like they're connected. Let me just be sure about that. It's saying different perspectives. Here I'm seeing on this card here the distance between the two areas. So like if we're looking at overhead, we're looking at how there's like a difference, if I can get there and there, a different there and there. So like a distance between the two cases. Okay, what I am also getting here that's come up in both spreads so far, and I haven't mentioned it, is this card called Inspired Ideas. Inspired Ideas. So that's kind of telling me, again, where the planning and the strategy card comes up. It's like somebody's inspired ideas. And the other, so I was pulling through another word at the time. So not conspiracy, conspiring. So inspiring ideas. So inspired ideas, I'm getting conspired. So both time it's like conspired. So while I don't feel like it's the same person, because I feel like Nicola is more people she knows. That's what I'm. Okay. What I'm going to ask here with Nicola Bulley's case, please, is was it a complete stranger? Was it the attack done by a complete stranger and someone Nicola didn't know? Because if that's the case, then it could be similarities. But I feel like there's similarities, but they're not in the same as being the perpetrator being the same. So first of all, with Nicola Bulley, please, the person involved in Nicola Bulley's death was a complete stranger to Nicola. Now, I'm also going to reread that with the new cards because I have all these kind of cards in the new cards. Okay, I also feel like the energy here is not right. So what I'm feeling like what I've asked is not a good question. I haven't asked it in a good, strong way. And I'm getting split. So it's like split being, that's the mental illness card, but it's also like I'm in two minds as I'm asking it. So it's like I'm in two minds as I'm asking that question. And I've actually forgotten what the question was. And when you go deeper and deeper with the reading, you become less logical, and you can't jump back into that logical mind as easy. So I am just going to pack these ones up and ask another question. I did ask about the stranger, so let me just see if I can see that it's a stranger. No, not getting anything there that it's a stranger at all in that reading. Okay, so mostly that's just what I wanted to know with this reading. I just want to keep it simple and short, and just wanted to see if there's a connection between the two, as in like a serial killer connection. I am going to ask again with the new deck because I have all those kind of cards in that deck. But I'm feeling that there is definitely similarities in this case, but I don't feel like the similarities being the perpetrator of the crime is the same.